Alright, operator's manual loader scoop type DED to 4x4 articulated frame steer 2.5 cubic yard JI case models M424C NSN 3801 1504814 Chapter 2 Section 4. Alright, Section 4, operating under unusual conditions. Operation under unusual weather, extreme cold, extreme heat, the rain, and humid conditions. Operating as any dust area, general cooling system, air cleaner, lubrication at halt, bulk, lifting arms, and pivot assembly. Operation in saltwater areas. Operation at high altitudes. Operation snow fording. Operation in unusual code 220. Extreme cold. General extensive preparation for the loader required for the extreme cold with the anticipated extreme cold cover the lubricant for the thickening the code and gel. Present risking freezing batteries, diminishing the electrical efficiency, can correct the electrical insulation to cover the short circuit to prevent fuel with the vaporizing readily the combustible mixtures necessary starting cut of the various materials become hard or brittle, easily damaged. You must make sure that the cooling system may be filled with the appropriate antifreeze solution to protect the system against sub-freezing temperatures. Cooling system. Before the cooling system is drained and filled with the inspect the system that leaks with the general condition. All deteriorated damaged hoses must be replaced. Make sure that all clamp at the type of the drain cocks are properly closed with the anti-freezing is added. The cooling system. Make sure the ample space is allowed with the required amount of the antifreeze. Be sure to operate the engine for 15 minutes. Allow the solution with the proper to properly mix. Lubrication. Be sure for the corrected grade of the lubricant supplied with the lubricating point with the necessary drain for refill with lubricating grade is not correct for cold weather. Fueling system. Be sure the precaution to take with eliminate the water, the moisture, but the fueling system drain with the flushing of the fuel tank, draining off the water, the fuel tank filter at the end of the day, each of the day operation. Replace with the fuel filter elements completely filling fuel tank after each of the operating period prepared to avoid water condensation. The fuel tank must not be allowed to remain partially empty over long periods of time. Allow ice or snow to must completely remove around the filler opening of the refilling of the fuel tank. Air system after being at the end of the daily operation, drain the water and sediments from the air. Reserve the engine operation for the cold weather starting aided to start the engine. Extreme cold, continue to return the engine at the reduced speed only long enough to circulate the oil through the engine and increase the speed. Warm up the engine, lowering idle speed during the extremely cold weather would result in incomplete combustion, heavily deposited formations on the valves. Cover the radiator necessary to bring the engine up to the operating temperature. All at halt or parking part of the loader sheltered place in the impossible. Close cab doors, window with the protected sunlight with control of the ice and snow with the running loaders onto the plank, prevent the tires from freezing ground, block up the blockage, sure to clean the wet snow from the blinded tires of the cylinders before sun freezes. Extremely cold weather, remove the batteries and store them in moderately warm area. Reinstall the batteries just before starting the engine. Extreme heat. General check for the temperature for the lightly frequent with the indication for the overheating. Allow the engine idle slowly with the overheated until the temperature is reduced for the indicator with the gauge pointer with the dropping into the green zone. Cooling system. Drain, flush, refill cooling system. Check with the coolant level the frequently intervals to keep the radiator cap tight. Be sure of the radiator free of the bugs and dust and other foreign materials. Check D. Check with the dry belt frequently and dry belt tension frequently. Lubricating the loader with the correct area of the lubricants in accordance with the lubricating chart. Check the filter elements for the short intervals with the normal air cleaning surface air cleaner with the shorter than normal intervals at halt or park the loader in a shady area if possible. 220 operation on unusual weather condition. Weather continued. Rainy and humid conditions to keep the water protected with the net and use the dry off the seat with the wiring to prevent the formation of the mildew. Keep the fuel tanks in fuel and serve the filter with the more frequent than normal. Keep all the moving parts as well. Lubricated 221 operating with dusty sand areas. Generally, sand and dust are abrasive that can cause the wear on many of the parts of the loader. Airborne sand and dust can clog with the radiator air cleaner cooling system. Make sure to check with the radiator frequently. Keep the air passage open with the air cleaner. Reduce the space interval with the air cleaner. With the clean the air with the cleaner with the often necessary lubrication. Lubricate the loader as more frequently intervals. Clean all the fittings, lubricating openings thoroughly through cleaning before lubricating to prevent entry with the dust and sand through the lubricating. Take care to prevent contamination. Lubricating for the dust and sand. Air when the loader is not used, close the cab windows, the door from the utility, whatever means available to protect the engine compartment with the entry with the wind blown dust and sand. Bucket lift arms and pivot assembly. Periodically check the sliding of the mating of the parts of the building. Build up the dust and dirt and sand with a wire brush and remove the dust and dirt from the sand build up. 222 operating in saltwater areas. Keep the loader as clean as possible after you with the wash and fresh water. Keep all lubricating points. Lubricate, keep all wire connections clean and free of the corrosion. 223, operation from the high altitudes. Consist of constant watch of coolant level. Add coolant is necessary. Keep close watch on the instrument during during operation. Note, the engine will operate at less than the peak of performance at high altitudes. 224, operating in snow. Keep the fuel tank with the fill with the snow and ice fuel filler with the everything loading. Close the cap door to keep the snow operating. Control the lubricant indicated from the operating seat. 225, fording. Loaders may be safely subjected to depths up to 30 inches. Observe the following the fording of the end bottom of the water. Before fording, the depth of the water, allowing the consistency with the bottom of the donut attempt to ford, and even in the narrow stream with more than 30 inches deep, the beginning trim of the engine, the operating with full efficiency before fording. During fording, shift the transmission to lower speed ranges and speed up the engine to minimize the danger of the stalling. Enter the water slowly. Manage the surge for the backwash into the engine compartment. Speed must not be exceeded with 3 to 4 miles an hour. If this installing completely, submission occurs, notify the higher level of maintenance. After fording, lubricate the loader completely as possible after fording. Section 3, Maintenance Instructions.